Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Very hot day again, 34 Celsius. I think in the shade, in the sun it will be much more, and between the buildings, especially in such a big city like Moscow is. Before we go over there, that I have showed you already, this is the place right next to the Cathedral of Christ the Savior, down below. I would like to ask you to get my name right. My name is ANIA, A-N-I-A-K. Not with J, not with Y, with I. So, also, 4th of July, happy 4th of July to everyone watching from United States, if you celebrate this day, of course. I know most of you do. And I have two articles for you today. However, I will start with an announcement. I think this is official already. It has been posted on TASS that Tucker Carlson might have an interview with Zelensky. And it looks like, that's what Tucker says, looks like we've got the Zelensky interview. We've been trying for 2 years and with particular intensity. After interviewing Russian President Vladimir Putin in February. That's what the US journalist Tucker Carlson said. And in his words, the goal of this interview is to bring the US public much needed information about the conflict that is reshaping Washington's position in global affairs. The exact date when the interview will be published was not disclosed. So this will be very interesting to watch. I have a feeling that Zelensky might cry during this interview. I think he will put a really good show on display during this interview with Tucker Carlson. We see, I'm pretty sure there will be something, maybe crocodile tears or something like that. Since we are on the topic of Tucker Carlson, yesterday I have watched a part of, I believe, is his latest interview that he posted on his channel with one of the richest men from Russia who has been sanctioned, and I believe the net worth of that gentleman, I forgot his name, is something around 18 or 19 billion US dollars, but they seized his funds, and when he was asked by Tucker how much money has been seized from him, he said $2 billion or something like that. So if you are interested, please make sure to watch that interview. Very, very interesting interview with this gentleman explaining what are the types of sanction, different kinds of sanction, how he was treated. And I haven't watched the whole interview yet, about half of it, but it was very interesting, so I highly recommend you. We will go there, and then I will find a place somewhere in the shade to read you the two articles that I have for you. But here, guys, this is a little bit more sightseeing today. So here is the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. If you come down, this is a little, I would say, park, square that you find. Oh, this is perfect because there is a lion. I can sit right here. And here is the statue of Alexander II, as you can see. I hope you can see it from this angle. It's still good enough. By the way, if you go inside the cathedral behind me, you will find incredible icon of the Romanovs family. So I highly recommend you to do it when you are in Moscow. Entry to this cathedral is free of charge, and I decided to take a sit with the lion behind me because I think it's just perfect. So guys, let's jump into the topics. I'm all over the place today, so apologies for this. I hope you're still subscribed. But in this weather I have to be in the shade. Okay. Me and the lion. I love this company. Okay guys, so two articles. One is a very short one about Ukrainian lawmakers who propose expanding exemptions from the military draft in Ukraine Honcharenko, who is a Ukrainian lawmaker, highlighted the importance of this amendment to mobilization bill to avoid injustice in Ukrainian society. Half-siblings of deceased of military soldiers should also be granted exemption from mobilization. Quoting him, the mobilization law now only includes full sibling as a category. Therefore, I propose correcting this injustice by adding the term half-sibling. The relevant bill number 11391 was registered in the Verkhovna Rada, which is Ukrainian parliament, on July 2nd, so 2 days ago, and it was posted on Parliament's website. Now, this is an article that is a little lengthy, but I believe you will appreciate me reading this to you. It's from a German website. I think it's a German newspaper, Neue Zürcher Zeitung. This was posted on their website 2 days ago. So now let me get this article, because I printed this out, not to make any mistake. It's about, the title is Anger, Frustration and Grief in Ukraine as the search for the new soldiers weighs on the country. Many Ukrainians are angry about the often clumsy attempts to recruit soldiers. Mobilization is faltering, which is also affecting those who have fought or are still serving in the front lines. In early summer in Western Ukraine, there are hardly any signs of the war. Life seems easygoing in Lviv. People sing in the streets and in bars, and even the tourists have returned. Before I continue, remember when I was still in Poland, I have posted a video that, what was the percentage? 60% of Ukraine was fine, something like that. And they were encouraging tourists to come and explore Ukraine. So that's exactly what it is. The west side has completely different life situation than the east side. Things only get gloomy when the power goes out because Russia attacks the energy supply, or when the army minibuses turn up and the recruiters climb out. While Ukrainians stoically, sorry my English, endure the inconveniences of everyday life, the issue of military recruitment infuriates them. When the staff at the recruitment centers try to draft men into the army, loud clashes regularly break out. Horrible, those videos. I watched lately a few of those, and it's just how people are being treated. It's unbelievable. Like, even watching this, how they are dragged into those mini buses, is just horrible. But Ukraine needs new fighters to give the frontline soldier a break, replace losses and regain the advantage from the Russians. How much reinforcement the armed forces need remains a secret. However, it is clear that Kiev has greatly reduced its ambitions due to strong civilian resistance. In the fall, Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny estimated that another 500,000 soldiers would be required in 2024. A leading defense politician recently described the goal of mobilizing 120,000 troops as realistic. The pressure on the military authorities to reach and exceed their quotas is great. Parliament has already lowered the age at which combat deployment is possible. Prisoners can now also serve on a voluntary basis. I think when I was recording the video about it, it was saying about over 20,000 Ukrainian prisoners. I think you remember that. In addition, since May, all men of military age have had to update data on their whereabouts in the app. This is meant to help speed the digitalization of the recruitment process. In reality, however, most conscription into the military is done face-to-face by targeting men who end up within easy reach of the recruiters in the minibuses. Without being prompt, and even during superficial conversations, people talk about the arbitrariners, of this system, guys, apologize my English, you know, I don't know all the words. The link will be down below this video in the description box. A woman talks about a relative with Down syndrome who has been drafted. An officer on furlough mentions alcoholic collected by the army in the village squares. Companies and private individuals complain that craftspeople and construction workers are being taken away by the military authorities while working on roads and squares. Can you imagine this, guys? Like, there is construction going on and this bus just pulls off there and they just grab those people from their job. Where I was. Yeah, right here. At the front, disparaging comments are heard about the motivation and fitness of the new soldiers. Yeah, so like what motivation? Zero. Even foreigners, yeah, so the tourists, right? Wow. Even foreigners can get caught up in one of the recruiters' checks. On a forest path in the city park of Lviv, a minibus suddenly pulls up and two soldiers want to see my documents. My foreign passport helps to clear up the misunderstanding, but a slightly queasy feeling remains. Can you imagine, guys? You go on a trip to Ukraine and you end up fighting at the front line after being probably injected some stuff into you to motivate you. Bribery and aggression against soldiers. For the soldiers serving at the government recruitment centers, the work is stressful. One of them, who calls himself Seri and does not want to reveal his full name, volunteered for the army in February 2022. He can no longer serve on the front because of a wound on his back. So he thumps through conscription orders in Uzhhorod and frequently has to enforce them. Seri finds his work humiliating. He criticizes the game of hide and seek played by the families who pretend that the conscripts are not home. Above all, he complains about the many young healthy men sitting in the cafes of the pretty city center. They talk about everything except the war, says the soldier, who is psychologically burdened by the memories of the fighting. People don't respect him, he says. He says civilians tell him to go do the fighting himself and refuse to believe that he already served. That makes him bitter. His back injury leaves him in constant pain. It is an open secret why many healthy men with a high level of education and a good income are not conscripted. Ukrainians are aware that conscription officers can be bribed and forged papers are easy to obtain. For those with enough money, such papers can certify that they belong to one of the 29 groups that are exempt from compulsory service. So on the subject of corruption, we will get into the comments from the video yesterday, right, about the supercar Bugatti. So if someone says, no, there is no corruption in Ukraine, I think someone left the comments like this. I mean, and the overwhelming patriotic public discourse, and the overwhelmingly, my English today is disaster, in the overwhelmingly patriotic public discourse, the topic of conscience objections and mobilizations problems are so taboo that it is difficult to determine their extent. Narratives are shaped by individual impressions, and not everyone who feels physically or mentally unable to fight is a malingerer. Many words I don't know in this article. In the meantime, however, a few dozen stories that are being played up for propaganda purposes are enough to further disillusion the exhausted Ukrainians. Poor image of the state recruitment centers. It is clear that military authorities have huge organizational problems. Since President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissed all regional recruitment center heads last August due to a number of corruption cases, the image of these recruitment centers has deteriorated catastrophically. In a survey conducted by the state television, 60% of respondents said they had a negative impression of the recruitment office's work. Because so few people are willing to take on leadership positions in these facilities, they often have to be led by officers who have discredited themselves at the front. In Uzhhorod, I think you don't pronounce H, Uzhhorod, the capital of the province of Transcarpathia, Colonel Andriy Savchuk runs the State Recruitment Center. As a commander of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade during the defense of Bakhmut, he gained a reputation for carrying out pointless orders from the high command without consideration of casualties. One more page, guys. So I hope you're not suffering too much with my English today. One sec. In his new role, he sent armed soldiers in combat gear to storm a luxury thermal spa in the late 2023. He claimed he wanted to send a signal that he would take action even against wealthy draft evaders. After the absurd raid, officials announced that 2 of the men checked had violated conscription obligations. They didn't end up having to report for duty. In Ukraine, such a pointless, populist, Soviet-style actions are called pokazuka. Oh, that's similar. A Russian word that roughly means putting on a show. We say in Polish pokazówka. Very similar. Pokazuka, pokazówka. You see? It is no coincidence that the raid took place in Transcarpathia. This rural mountain region on the far western edge of Ukraine is a retreat for those who want nothing to do with the war. Many also use such places as a stopover before moving abroad. In recent weeks, there have been more and more reports of both successful attempts to flee. And at the beginning of June, an army bus carrying 32 men broke through fortifications on the border with Hungary. Romania reported the illegal arrival of 2,373 people from Ukraine in the first quarter of 2024. You remember, guys, again, when I was in Poland, I read you a very long article. It was on Polish website about how those Ukrainian men are escaping through the mountains, or they choose to go through the river. I hope you remember that article I read you. Those who drown in the Wild Boar River, they are all likely to be men of military age, as this is the only category of Ukrainians who are prohibited from leaving the country. For some, the escape has ended fatally. The bodies of 45 drowned people have been found in the Tisza border river in recent months. They had been brought to the riverbanks by human smugglers and evidently underestimated the currents of the wild mountain waters. This is what I was talking about. Among them was a friend of Seri and his wife. She says that the man fought at the front, but at some point he couldn't take it anymore. He died in the river. When they think of their friend, they say the sad and beautiful song "A Duck Swims in the Tisza" always comes to mind. It is about lonely death in a foreign country and became an anthem in 2014 to commemorate the victims of the Ukrainian Euromaidan revolution. Later, the army played it for the fallen. Now it reminds people of those who no longer want to fight. So this is the article. Of course, as always, I apologize for my mispronunciation and very poor English sometimes. I know many of you are like very understanding, and I appreciate that. However, I should improve by now. I know this, but many words I still don't know. Article is very, very interesting, and I would like to direct you to the link that is down below in the description box. So guys, that's what's going on. I don't know how they will be able to recruit those people, which they won't be able to recruit, how much you can force people into those buses at the end of the day. But we will end this video with few comments of the day. Majority of you believe the story that Olena Zelenska is buying that Bugatti car. Some of you say that this is fake news. Even if this is fake news, I have zero doubt that the corruption in Ukraine is beyond words and beyond the description. So we should just keep in mind that even if she didn't buy the Bugatti car, For sure, she bought many other things that we don't know about. This is just my opinion here. The comment from Angel Messenger says there is a video going around showing all the supercar Ukrainian, this is how it's written, all the supercars with Ukrainian number plates in Monaco. At this point, the debunking is a clear indication of truth. So, true or not, right? Another comment is from Stop This, who says, whatever Zelensky owns is irrelevant when his time comes, when he's got more to worry about in the afterlife with millions of angry souls waiting for him. Very good comment. The last comment is from Andy Yota. Did he pay in shekels or dollars this time? And you got two replays. The first one is from Luton Meek, who says, with blood, a lot of blood. That's how he paid. And the second comment is from Robert Novak. No, he paid from your tax money. Very good comments yesterday, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of those comments. Let me just watch my dress. It's pretty long. I don't want to step on it. So that's all I have for you today. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Moscow time, which will be 10 a.m. New York City time, I have a live stream scheduled with Scott Ritter. Looking forward to it. If you have time, please join us tomorrow. Like I said, the links will be down below in the description box. And those of you who would like to follow me on Instagram, please do it, because I only need 199 people to reach 7,000 followers, which would be lovely. I would be very, very pleased with this. I put many new pictures from Moscow in the stories as well, so you can see more of Moscow. And if you would like to support me, please hit this like, subscribe to my channel, leave the comments down below, and also purchase my book that I collaborated on with Scott Ritter, covering Ukraine, the Scott Ritter interviews through the eyes of Anya K. And you have my PayPal link as well, locals. And if you go on the older videos, you will see Patreon as well as GoFundMe for my little house in Russia. That is my dream. Lots of love, everyone. Very, very hot day. See you tomorrow, maybe in a solo video, but for sure, if not, during my live stream with Scott Ritter, 5 p.m. Moscow time. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. Bye, everyone.